Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. This is the Saturday show, so this video will be on Saturday. Obviously I'm not filming this on Saturday, but I filmed this a couple days before. Um, there will be some what solds for the end of the video, but first we're going to hit some talking points. Like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below, and hit the bell notification to get notified when I drop these videos. If you'll notice, there's extra video this week. I'm going to try to get back to a consistent um, almost maybe daily upload. It won't be sourcing. Sourcing will stick to a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday schedule, a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, and then other videos will be like this, what sold videos, because I definitely think what solds are incredibly important, and I definitely want to show you guys what I'm selling, the cool, unique items that you can resell, you can find out there, and then pick them up and resell them online for decent money. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the talking points today and what I've seen occur in the news this week. We talk about scalpers being back. There was a toilet paper run. I run on toilet paper again. Not too, what was that last week? I think it was last week actually. During the dock workers strike, there was that. So some things are coming back around. But to me, the bigger news here is Poshmark. Their fee structure has changed. Now there's a 5.99% for the buyer and the seller. So they're splitting up the cost, basically splitting up how much they're gonna make the fees between both parties now. Uh, and there's additional, like a $1 fee if you sell it for $15 or less, and $2 for anything above that. So, you guys can look up to see the exact fee structure and how they're going to get paid. But the big news here is that they're splitting up the cost between the buyer and the seller, splitting up the fees between the buyer and the seller, similar to what Mercari did. And I will address that in a little bit right here, but I also want to talk about something that could have a huge effect on us, maybe not now, but down the line. But the government is now looking into these Chinese companies such as Temu and Shein. I think it's pronounced Shein, and other ones that have these direct-to-consumer business models. Again, these are Chinese companies selling directly to U.S. customers, right? They're not shipping over big bulk, big old, bulk. You're not buying in bulk and then they're reselling it here. They're selling directly to customers. Now, first and foremost, I'm not really a big fan of Temu or Shein. Their products are very, very cheap. I come across them all the time when I'm at thrift stores, and it's not good quality. It's meant to be used, broken, thrown away, or used and thrown away, whether it breaks or not, discard it, and then move on to the next thing. Buy another item. Keep the cycle going. Of course, that increases trash. That increases waste. And the government is actively fighting that, but the government wants a cut. Obviously, the government wants a cut of this stuff. They're seeing all these items come into the U.S. and there's I guess a rule or a law where if it's under $800, they can circumvent certain fees or tariffs or taxes, whatever you want to call it. But they've been taking advantage of this situation. Well, now the government is kind of stepping in, and there will be potentially increased fees for these items that are coming in overseas. Now, that could lead to people now second guessing buying these cheap little items. I know there's still Amazon. There's still a lot of cheap, similar quality items on Amazon. But they're really targeting these Chinese companies. And, one of the things about Chinese companies is these companies have to, not sure if anybody's aware of this, but a lot of these companies that operate in China, that started in China, operate in China, and operate other places, but wherever their headquarters is in China, that information becomes property of the Chinese government. So all the information they're collecting is basically going to the Chinese government. So be aware of that. I'm pretty sure they have everybody's information already, but so kind of maybe ordering now is too late. But hopefully this can help us in the long term as far as our selling, our hopefully increasing our sales here on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, wherever you sell on. Local American businesses, small businesses, we'll hopefully be able to take advantage of this, and hopefully we be able to increase our sales. Basically, is what I'm talking about here. Okay, on to these fee structures. You know, we saw Mercari do this. Mercari was taking away all seller fees. There's like a small like transaction fee, I think, or something like that, just for the payment, if I remember correctly. But the fees they collect are collecting it from the buyer. 100% of the fees are being collected from the buyer. Poshmark has come in and decided to split that. They say, okay, the buyer's going to pay part of it, and then the seller's going to pay part of that as well. eBay. Well, eBay hasn't changed their fee structure here in the United States. They are doing that in the UK. So private sellers in the UK have no fees right now. So a lot of people are right now doing the no fee thing. You know, try to attract sellers. Why are they trying to do that? Attract sellers to get items on their platforms for buyers to purchase. However, you could be turning away buyers because of this high cost. I mean, look at Amazon. Amazon will never charge their buyers. Yeah, there's Amazon Prime, but that's kind of like just a added bonus on top of things. But they're never going to charge their customers for, buying things on their site. eBay will never charge their U.S. customers. That is, will never charge their U.S. customers additional fees to shop on their website. It's very anti-buyer, basically. In my opinion, increasing the cost decreases the likelihood of a buyer buying from that platform. What's the incentive for them to buy there when they can go to other, Amazon or eBay, where there's no fees for them, or these new companies that are popping up, and they can go there and buy these items there and not, pay more. So, the buyer is already squeezed, on everywhere else. We're just getting done with a hyperinflation event, so everybody's trying to recover from that. So these companies are looking to grow. They want to grow. Poshmark, I think it was last year, is when they when they basically turned off all external shopping sites or whatever. So they're primarily just in the U.S. Mercari is U.S. I believe they started in Japan actually. I'm not familiar with their outside the U.S. operations, but everyone's looking to increase market share. Now eBay is doing the same thing. They're increasing market share and increase money. Basically, what it comes down to is increasing the amount of money that they're making, so that way they stay viable. Now, eBay is coming up with creative ways for advertising to try to raise money in the U.S. The U.S. market for eBay, I think, has kind of reached its point of, as far as it's going to go. It's still going to grow. It won't grow, that big anymore. It's already pretty much expanded to the point where it can be expanded without, just waiting for people to turn 18 to sign up and start selling on there, and that's slow growth. It's going to grow slowly over time. Obviously, they want to make money now. So what are they doing? They're expanding into the UK. They're trying to expand in the UK. Now, there was an article out of Reuters, and this came out yesterday, actually. This just came out yesterday. Online shopping returns to growth in Europe amid fierce competition. So the European market, and I read through the article and everything, and the European market is beginning, online shopping market is beginning to see growth, and returning, which probably slowed down due to, post-pandemic and all that. However, the growth is coming back to European, and UK is in Europe, and UK is a fairly large market. Now, large companies like eBay have probably already seen this. This news is coming out now for everybody, the world to see. However, these large companies such as, eBay, probably Amazon, other companies that have an online presence are already aware of this information. They've probably had this months in advance, and they're already planning for this. They're already getting ready to implement changes to try to take advantage of this situation. like I said, the growth in the U.S. is going to be a slower growth now. It's kind of already reached its point as far as eBay goes. They've kind of reached their point where the expansion is now going to be a slow moving process, and they're going to want to make more money if they can. So where do you got to go? You got to go to the frontier. You got to expand beyond the borders. Now it's going to be quite difficult for they're really pushing international shipping around here. I got my merch from the eBay Open. It's all about international shipping. They want you to use their international shipping program. They want to expand internationally. However, shipping costs, are incredibly high. So, going from U.S. to international, the prices are going to be considerable, and eBay is well aware of this. So they are going to operate within these companies. Within these countries. They're going to expand operations within these countries to see that growth. And who are they targeting? The UK. We saw the need. They're targeting the UK market right now, targeting those private sellers. Like here in the US, I'm pretty sure most of eBay, are just people who are listing 1, 2, 3 items here and there, and they would like to capture that market that they have in the US in the UK. However, I've heard some stories now where they are a lot of, private sellers in the UK, since they've implemented this no fee structure, are now being kind of asked to convert over to a business account, because this does not affect business account. Business accounts still have to, still have fees. I don't know how the UK works, how their system works as far as if you're a business, not a business, what you got to sign up for, all that. Not sure clear how that works, but I have heard that some people, it's probably based on volume or how much, they're making or all that, that they're now being told, okay, we would like you to convert over to a business account. And they're trying to keep, obviously, the people that pay no fees, to, probably the masses, because those are the people that are going to be putting items out there. They're just going to be putting them out there one at a time. They're not going to be, doing 5, 10, 15, 20 items a day. They're going to be like maybe a few a week at a time. So that's how they're looking to expand. They're going to go out to these other countries. They're going to go out into the frontier and begin expanding. Look at Amazon. Amazon has reached, has really reached its limits in the U.S. They're doing an incredible amount of U.S. business. Their presence outside of the U.S. is rather small. It's compared to other companies. They just don't have the same power they do that they have here in the U.S. And I really don't see, maybe a few more years, I can see Amazon starting to see the slower growth in the U.S. But they constantly make changes. They're constantly they have this whole protect the buyer at all cost kind of mentality. So and you see it, if you got to return anything, it's easy, piece of cake. You get your money back, you get your gift card back on Amazon, then you shop again on there. I reached out to a seller on there just recently. So I had an item and these items are pretty cool. They're called Datavacs. They're just electronic dust blowers, really cool. However, I found that the batteries in there just don't seem to hold up at all. And the other one I purchased in January. And just the other week, I noticed it was just not holding a charge anymore. I would charge it up all day and then go to use it, and it would go start blowing, and then all of a sudden just disappear. So I just bought it in January too, and I reached out to the company that sold it to me on Amazon, and they were really, really nice and really cool, and swiftly shipped me a new one, even though it was completely outside of the return window. It was outside of the warranty, whatever. They were like, no problem, we'll send you one right away. And this got to me within about 48 hours. So really cool. And that's, what Amazon wants. That's what Amazon wants. These people that sell on there, that's what they want them to do. Just to take care of the buyer at all costs, to have the buyer continually coming back to Amazon. I'm not sure about that. I didn't look up Amazon numbers or anything like that. But, they're doing an incredible amount of business within the U.S. They're eventually going to reach a point where they got to expand elsewhere. They got to push the boundary. They got to look to the frontier. Fortunately, they're making their change. They're doing things, making changes, internally, that they're able to still operate and still make an incredible amount of money within the U.S. borders. eBay is probably reached the limit within the U.S. borders, like I said already, and are looking towards the frontier. They're looking beyond the U.S. They're looking to, I know eBay has an incredible presence in Australia. You see some of these people online, selling in Australia. They have an incredible presence in Australia, and they're looking to expand into Europe. They're probably looking to expand into Asia. I do send a lot of items actually out to Asian countries as well too. My international shipping. I go through the international shipping hub. I've sent items, across the Pacific. I send more items across the Pacific than I do across the Atlantic. So they're obviously wanting to expand, and they know how to expand. I hope in the future they may be able to negotiate hopefully some reduced international shipping costs. I know there's issues with that. Every country out there is going to have different rules, different, just shipping to Canada is like incredibly expensive, and it's wild what these people, what people internationally have to pay to get these items from U.S. customers. Some people pay it, but the majority will not. So. I would like to see those international fees go down. Don't know if there's a way to actually do that or not. But otherwise, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. But that's what's happening right now in the world of e-commerce, selling online, and hopefully this will help us in the long term as far as us U.S. sellers. I doubt. I was asked in a live stream if, I think no fees will be coming to the U.S. as far as eBay goes. No, they will not be, taking away fees. This is their, what do you call it? Their breadbasket. This is their breadbasket here in the U.S. They're making an incredible amount of money. They're trying to get inventive with different ways to increase fees through advertising, stuff like that. And advertising has helped. I will admit, advertising will help you increase your sales. Not all advertising, not all the all the options they offer might not be for you, might not be for your business, but definitely look into it. And I advertise offsite and advertise standard as well too. I also do the store promotion through a coupon, so I do that as well. So if you do offer a coupon, definitely look into the advertising your store via the coupon. There is it is a cost per click, but I set it really low, and I can help get exposure for my store, on the eBay platform, and I have seen some great returns from that, as well as from offsite, and of course from the promoted standard. My return is pretty good on my ad spend there. So, and hopefully, going into the end of the year, things only get better. I hope, I hope. But let's go ahead and get into the what solds here. I'm gonna cut this video. I think the previous Saturday video I didn't cut it, but I already had all these thoughts floating around in my head, and I just wanted to sit down and get them all on video now. And then a little bit later today, I'll go ahead. So you might see me change, and then a little bit later today, I'm gonna go ahead and get the what sold part of this video done. Hey everybody, welcome to the second half of the video. Let's go ahead and get into the what sold items. We're going to have 5 items here, what sold, hopefully cool, unique items that you haven't seen before, that you might not necessarily be aware of that you can actually resell. So let's get into it, and we'll discuss what they sold for, and what they sold for, what they shipped for, and anything cool, unique, or my thoughts on each item. But first, let's first get into the first item. Okay. Let's pop this up on the screen. This should be appearing. There we go. All right, so we have a perfume bottle set here. I'm just moving my screen around. Now, very unique, very difficult to kind of get sold. Very difficult. And why is it difficult? It's difficult because there's no branding on it at all. There's nothing on it to tell you what it is. It does have a bit of an Indian vibe to it. So I kind of was thinking, leaning that way, more Asian, Indian, Asian area with it, which is why I put Indian in the title. Vanity decor. It's a piece that you would find on a vanity dresser desk. With a lot of these vintage perfume bottles or perfume bottles in general, they have the spritz, the spray bottle one. The what do they call it? Like the atomizer one with a little puffer thing on it. And there's some that have a little glass. These ones had a little glass, a long glass, like dabber on the inside. So you screw the top off, you take it off, and little dabber on there. So these are really cool. It's not anything. I mean, it was kind of high end. It was kind of cool. And I knew I could get it sold. That's the thing. I knew I could get it sold. So with a lot of these items that are unique, that really don't have any type of identifying markers on them, they're not brand name or anything. They're not real gold. It's going to be a tough sell. And I can't really describe like how I know I'm going to be able to sell it. It's just kind of a feeling I get. When I'm there in the moment, I'm looking at the item. I'll definitely Google image it, because I have my phone with me. So I'll Google image it to see if it comes up with anything. That can definitely help you out in identifying items. But as far as identifying items that can sell, you just got to, be doing this for over 20 years. And hopefully, watching here on YouTube, I didn't have YouTube back in the day. I didn't have any, as far as like mentors go, I started in sports cards, and a lot of sports card shops we would visit. There was a lot of shows we would go to, and then you just kind of learn, what, there was a price guide, but it was basically a guide. It wasn't like the price, like a card wasn't necessarily $10 because the guide said it was $10. It's whatever someone's willing to pay for it. And so for this item. This is really cool. This one sold for $35.65 with $9.69 shipping on that. So that's not included in the $35. That's on top of the $35. So they paid closer to $50 for this item, and it's a really cool just little vanity set. Those little crystals you see on it are not even glass or anything. They're just little plastic, rhinestone-esque looking crystals. So just really cool. Yeah, the gold part was metal, but it's not real. I mean, it's real metal. It's not gold or anything. So, but just a really cool set, and being able to identify these things. Hopefully, me presenting this information to you guys will really help find items that are cool, unique. You may be in an area. You may be looking to shift niches. You may be like I can't find any clothes in my area, what else can I resell? I can't find any games in my area, what can I resell? Video games, I can't find any what else, toys in my area, what else can I resell? Well, this is something that resells online, and it sells for a pretty decent profit. I got this at Goodwill, so really great item. Okay, next piece. And this went in I guess for more information, it went in a box, 12 by 8 by 6 box, inches that is. So just got packed really well. That is glass on the bottom too, by the way. Okay, another item, and this is something I do kind of specialize in, and I do know a little bit more information than most, but whiskey bottles. So this was a Old Forester, very good whiskey bourbon, but this was a unique bottle. This was obviously a sold in stores at some point. I don't know when exactly. I knew it was old. I knew it was vintage. And real quickly on vintage, and a lot of people. There's the vintage police out there. There's the antique police out there. But the time, like the 20 years for vintage, I forget what it is for antique. 80 years, 50 years, I don't know. But for vintage, everyone says it's 20 years. As long as it's 20 years old, it's vintage. Well, that's just what people say it is. It's not like, I think some website or some reselling website coined it or said 20 years is considered vintage in their book, but the reality is in the computer world, I'm in the computer world. 10 years is ancient history. No, 10 years is probably vintage in computer terms, just because everything moves so fast, like dog years. And then 20 years is ancient history. So, it's just different. It doesn't really matter as far as, throwing around the word. And as a matter of fact, the word vintage is thrown around way too much. So I've been getting away from actually using vintage just because it's all over the place. It's not going to help really differentiate your item and single it out. I might throw it in there towards the end as of late. Here I put it towards the beginning, but I might throw it in there, later in the title structure. I might even leave it out if I have enough keywords and identifiers to be able to get this item sold. But yeah, that's enough about vintage talk. Old Forester. So Old Forester, a bourbon brand. It was just a cool, unique. It was footed, as you can tell on the glass bottle here, how it kind of comes to a, not a point, but a tightening point in the glass, and then expands out so it can sit on. It looks a little nicer, other than just just a bottle. Has a nice little footed part to the bottle, I guess. The top part there is actually, you can flip the bottle over, and if it had liquid in it, you can flip the bottle over and then it would fill that top part up there, and you could probably use that as a little portable carrier if you want to do that. But then again, you probably need a separate cork to close your whiskey, otherwise it'll all evaporate. But a really cool, unique looking decanter. Old Forester, it's old. It's an older brand. A lot of whiskey aficionados are aware of Old Forester, and it is a if you go to stores, it is one of the cheaper ones, but it's still a very good whiskey. It hits well above its price point. And then whiskey in the title there, I put whiskey. I spelled whiskey the either the Irish way or the American way, however you wish to see it. And then I spelled it whiskey without the E before the Y, which is typically how it's done in like Scotland, Britain, England, UK, whatever you want to use for that. So I did the two spellings of it so that I can capture anybody that's looking for anything like that. Even though this is a Kentucky bourbon, so typically it would be spelled with the E before the Y. Glass, it's spirit, so it's a spirit. And then it's decor. I mean, I threw decor in there because this is, I don't think any, I mean, I guess you could use this as a decanter, refill it, but it's more like decor. And what I do is I display a lot of cool, when I find some cool bottles that I like, this one I did like, but it wasn't anything I was going to probably hang on to. Then I'll keep it and I'll display it. I won't ever refill it. So that's why I threw decor in there. But really cool, just whiskey bottle. Oh, I got to go over what's sold. What's sold? How much? How much did this thing sell for? $38.25 is what it sold for. $6.42 for the shipping, which means it went somewhere pretty close to me. Probably within the state of California. It went. I don't really remember, but and again, this one here is a little bit taller and probably would not necessarily fit in a 12 by 8 by 6 box. However, you take the cork off, wrap that separately, and that'll fit perfectly in a 12 by 8 by 6 box. Just make sure to wrap it really well. Okay. And then the next one is not necessarily anything cool or unique. It's Lego set. So, I mean, Lego sets aren't, I think everybody knows Lego sets go for good money. And you can, find them. Yeah, trying to get them for a good price because everybody knows they go for good money is a bit tough. However, what I wanted to present to you guys here, and I did this on a live stream, as a matter of fact, I separated out the minifigures. And what I do is I buy all these sets. And I just collect the minifigures. Some sets I do build out if I like them and they're cool. I have sets displayed over here to this side of me. And eventually I'll take them down and, remake it, build, put new sets out or something that I want to display and see. But this one here, it's okay. It's a part of the Book of Boba Fett. And the Book of Boba Fett, if you guys follow any Star Wars news, was not very good. So, yeah, it's kind of an iconic scene, Jabba's palace, but because it was associated with that, I didn't really have anything invested in it emotionally. As far as the set goes, it's a cool set, but it's not anything that I would it's not really anything I felt a connection to as far as like I wanted to build out. I pretty much like the ships and everything. I have Darth Vader's castle, which is really cool. But the ships, I really like the ships. I don't really like the like the actual like places or something like that, like the city places, cityscapes. But this one had a lot of cool figures in it, and that's why I really wanted the set because it had a lot of cool Star Wars figures that I wanted to put in my collection. Some unique pieces there as well too. But what I did was I took all the minifigures out and I resold the set. So as I was taking the pieces out, I was resealing the bags just with tape. And some of the bags I didn't even have to open at all. And now I'm not going to include the original box. It doesn't really matter at this point. The box isn't really going to add too much. What it's going to add is a headache when it comes to shipping because it's an unusual size. And I'm going to need a bizarre sized box, which could increase the shipping costs. So I was able to get the shipping costs down for the buyer, make it more enticing for them to buy it. By separating everything out, I could put this in the poly bag. Obviously, put padding in there too. When I say poly bag, I use a lot of padded poly bags, and I usually will wrap with a little bit of bubble wrap as well too, just to ensure it makes the safe journey, depending upon what the item is exactly. But so you can part. What I want to tell you guys is that you can part these sets out and make more money. There's a website called Bricklink, and on that website there are sellers, resellers, and what they do is they take these sets and they break them all down and sell each individual piece, and you can make quite a bit of money selling each individual piece. Does it really work that way on eBay? It doesn't translate very well, but what does translate well as far as parting these out is separating the minifigures out from the main set. And because usually if they have minifigures, the minifigures are going to hold most of the value, especially if they're pretty unique. And there's a lot of unique sets coming out right now. And the minifigures, hold a lot of value there. So if you do collect, you can kind of, offset the cost a little bit, which is what I'm doing here. I'm not by any means making my money back on what I spent on this set, but I am recouping some of the cost so that way I can have the minifigures in my collection and still feel okay about spending the money on it, basically. So this sold for $18. No, wait. Let me just double check my work. $18, yeah, $18, and it actually costs quite a bit to ship, because I think this was about £3, so $12.62 is what it took to ship it out. So it's probably going to the other side of the country. And again, this was a padded poly bag. I wrapped it with a little bit of bubble wrap and sent it on its way. So not too much, and we're not making any money by any on this purchase, but this was a purchase for my collection, and therefore that doesn't really count. So I'm trying to recoup some cost to help offset my collection, the cost of my collection. Yeah. And the next one, fairly common here. I mean, not well, the brand isn't common, but as far as backpacks go, backpacks very common. I don't even know what the average cost would be for a backpack on it. Maybe $7-8 maybe. You go to Goodwill, you're gonna see a lot of JanSport. You'll see a lot of off-brand. You'll see a lot of Target brand. A lot of no-name brands. Probably get on Amazon or something like that. But here's a cool, unique name to be on the lookout for: King Kong. It's basically a gym bag, really heavy duty. If you guys are aware of PacSun, it is like a security brand type of backpack. This is very similar. However, this I think is more geared towards gym, going to the gym and everything. It's a nice, heavy duty backpack. King Kong. I initially thought maybe it was like for for animals or something, but no, not to put your animal in, but like to hold animal stuff. But no, it's just like a gym bag. So, so I put the Surge 21 because I was on the tag on the inside that KNKG was on the inside, so I threw that in there thinking it might, help increase the odds of getting it sold. King Kong backpack. I put laptop bag just because I tend to put that in there. A lot of people carry laptops, tablets, whatever. So I tend to throw that in there. I always throw travel in there as well too because a lot of people take backpacks when they're traveling. And then gym, because it is a gym bag. I threw the color in there because it's kind of a unique color. You don't really see, how many times do you see purple backpacks around? It's not too much. And then commuter. I always throw commuter in there as well too, just because when people are commuting, they need something to carry all their stuff in. So I'll tend to throw those keywords in there if there's not many other identifiers or other keywords that I can use just based on the item and what the item is showing me, or I can't think of any other keywords. Then I'll always bring those in there for a backpack. My eyes are still a little watery and itchy here. Still, getting used to the weather change. We're getting cooler, thank goodness. But really cool item. What did this sell for? This actually sold for pretty good monies, pretty good dollars. What's 66.73 is what this sold for, and this actually went fairly close to me. So it was $8.98 to ship that out. So fairly close state to me, but really cool piece. Definitely be on the lookout for this. Definitely flies under the radar at Goodwill, because it's not, there's not that many people know about King Kong. So keep your eye out for it. Easy to identify. And as far as the quality goes, it's very high, a very nice, thick, probably slash proof, fabric. Okay. And then the last item I'm going to show you guys here today is a trinket box. So I've talked about it on the channel before. Trinket boxes, for me, they do incredibly well. As far as, how fast they sell. As far as how much they sell for, that's a different story. They don't really go for that much. They'll hover around $15 to $20 typically. This one here, though, the what's on the back of my picture there? I didn't even realize that. There's like a little there's like a mark there. It's kind of annoying. I gotta take a look at my background. I don't think that's on there now. I'll have to look. But either way, for some reason, people like, and these sell faster, Eiffel Tower trinket boxes. I don't know why. I have no idea. I just know every time I find an Eiffel Tower trinket box, I know it's going to sell fairly quickly. Not that it will necessarily sell for that much more, but it will sell very quickly. So with that being said, you should not be spending too much on these. I really think $5 is too much. You probably want to be around $3 on any trinket box, basically, of this size. The larger trinket boxes, maybe $5 at the most, unless it's by some really, crazy name. I sold the Monet one for, I think, $25-ish not too long ago. But if it's just these art form, it's a very common name in these. Most of them are just unnamed. If it has a cool scene on it, if it's an animal, definitely pick it up. Pick it up for around $3 because this one sold for $16. Shipping was $5.62. I didn't say what boxes some of these things. Did I say what box? Oh, this one went in. This actually just went in a poly bag. So yes, it is ceramic, and yes, it is breakable. But if you wrap it with bubble wrap, which bubble wrap is relatively inexpensive, overall it's kind of expensive, but once you break it down to the per foot cost, you can get it down really, really low, depending on how much you buy. But I wrapped this about 6 times in bubble wrap. So, and it's small too, so it doesn't take it really doesn't take that much bubble wrap overall. But I wrapped it 6 times, threw it in a poly mailer, and sent it on its way. It was less than 5 ounces. So really cool item. And Eiffel Tower, Paris, France. I don't really have to tell you why I put those in there. Trinket boxes is hinged, so it has a hinge. Some trinket boxes, just take the top off and that's it. And then pill case, because it's small enough. Some people, will put their pills in these things. People that take pills. I do take pills. I take vitamins. So this went in a poly bag and with bubble wrap. Enough bubble wrap to keep it, secured. To keep it preventing it from breaking. Believe it or not, I send a lot of glass, a lot of ceramic in poly mailers. You just got to use bubble wrap to cushion it. It will survive the trip. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Of course, knock on wood. But most things can go in a poly bag and survive a trip. Trust me, I've been doing this a long time. I've had items sent in boxes that get complete. As a matter of fact, not too long ago, I sent a glass piece. Um, it was a bigger glass. It called for a box. Wrapped it up as the best. The way I always wrap all my glass pieces, everything. I use paper as far as filling the gaps and everything, and it still broke. So I used an oversized box for it, and it still broke in transit. Yeah, it doesn't happen that often. Again, knock on wood. But it doesn't happen that often. But it will happen from time to time. You will experience it. But a lot of these smaller items, bubble wrap it, polybag, it will be safe. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've been doing this. I've been sending them out this way. Definitely, I would not be sending mugs this way because of the shape, and it's not gonna. It would not survive the trip. But little things like these little trinket boxes, some picture frames do really well out there. Just got to make sure to use the appropriate amount of bubble wrap. Don't get stingy with the bubble wrap. If you buy enough of it, it's cheap. Going back here really quick to the King Kong backpack. That one went in a poly bag. Why didn't it pop up on the screen? I don't know. Did I have another? Oh, I have another window open here. Let me get rid of that one. And then, there we go. So the King Kong backpack, that also went in a poly bag. I buy large padded poly bags, really large padded poly bags, because they really, really come in handy. And what I'll do is I'll break them down. I don't buy all these different sizes. It's just a waste of money. You're just going to have sizes sitting around that you're not even going to use. So I just buy one size, and then I break it down to use it for for different items, And this one went into a large padded poly bag, and sent it on its way. And that definitely helps to keep the cost down and to help, get your items sold, because the buyer pays the shipping costs, and if the shipping cost is way too high, they may balk at the deal. All right. Still morning for me. Still have my coffee. This video will be out on Saturday. Hope you guys appreciate the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below about the earlier part, about the talking points and what's going on in reselling world. And let me know what you guys think of these what solds. And yeah, we're gonna try to keep this up. We're gonna try to keep up hopefully a daily schedule here. This setup is really gonna allow me to. My hat's crooked. It's really gonna allow me to he'll get content out in a quicker fashion, but still good content, I hope. And it'll allow me to get it uploaded quicker too, just due to the resolution. The resolution is lower. Let me know how it looks, everybody. I typically shoot all my videos in 4K when I'm out and about garage sale, flea markets, and Goodwill. But if this is still clear, it's still clear, and I can churn this video out pretty quickly. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next video.